All right, and hello everybody. This is the first session's maiden voyage of a little segment. I'm gonna be calling cooperatively speaking, and tonight's subject tonight's co-op title of mention is going to be Anthem. Much buzz about that particular title. Let's get some thinking music in here. Yeah, much is being said about that specific title, Anthem, and we're gonna kind of dig a little deep into just on the surface to some degree with regards to how it relates to the Legend Gamers Network, and maybe touch on a little bit about what the buzz is for this title. A lot of people were looking forward to it, and there was definitely a lot of confusion centered around what to expect for the title, what to expect in regards to what it has to offer. And some of the things I definitely want to kind of bring into play here. Anthem, according to Forbes, is in trouble. Forbes ran an article on their website speaking on how Anthem's just kind of staring down a barrel within the community as well as the industry itself. And Forbes goes on to cite some of the information. Some of the sources as to where from. Some of these. This is coming from Metacritic. Apparently, this game right now has a Metacritic score based off 39 critics of 61. And a user score of 4.1, and that's out of like 1,843 ratings, so it's getting like a 4.1. I guess that's out of 10, right? 4.1 out of 10. And let's take a look at what some of the folks are pointing out primarily for this title. It looks like there's definitely a lot of gushing going on about it. Some people just can see no wrong with certain things, and that's fine. To be honest, that's not what we're here for. That's not what we do here for on the Legend Gamers Network. Cooperatively speaking, we don't really look at all the fanfare with regards to like the graphics and all that kind of old mess. But this is what's going on. This is what's kind of surfaced around this particular title. You got people call it ambitious. Gaming Trends goes on to call it ambitious approach to the looter shooter genre, and it's encouraging to give the development team steadfast community engagement. So they have been on top of it. Got to give them a little bit of credit for that. But again, there are definitely a lot of detractors in here. It's, people with the rank of 60 out of out of 100. The way 60 out of 100, 60 out of 10, 6 out of 10. This guy here, Quango Jones, after around 30 hours in the game, is just boring. So we got to figure out what the gentleman was looking for. Also, did he just plow through the game? I don't know. The AI is broken. I don't know. The AI seems to do a fairly good job of killing me. So I'm very maybe broken my damn self. Now, another interesting note. One of these, the dark station here. So on the one hand, you got some folks saying that it suffers from baffling design choices and awful writing that hold it back. But really, the writing is well. It's kind of intrusive into the action, but if you settle down with some of the residents, you come to find that they actually have kind of cool stories and characterizations. Now this one from the Dark Station, something that they mentioned here, the voice acting is often quite great. So you have one saying that the story is kind of bad. This one here saying the voice acting is great, the environments are incredibly beautiful, and the action can be fantastic. But eventually, Anthem feels like all that colorful combat, sound, and fury are in the service of nothing very interesting or innovative. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's definitely one way to kind of look at it. I mean, quality is quality. I mean, dude, I don't know if we were expecting a whole lot of innovative and new things from a suit-based shooter, third-person shooter. But you know, just thoughts. Now, and you know, so it ranges from high to low, hot and cold with some of these. I would like to think that they're all over the place. Anthem was a game I was initially pumped for, a narrative shooter made by BioWare. Hell yeah, sign me up. But when I finally got my hands on the demo, I was met with disappointment. Okay, I could see the seams of the game immediately with heavy downgrades to the hub, but it's worse performance than was shown in the past, and characters coming off as NPCs in that they don't really seem to care what you say and always do whatever you do. I mean, all that, the player experience is definitely going to vary depending on what you look for. But what we look for here at the Legend Gamers Network is a few very specific things. And I do want to go on to mention that for folks that are looking for a really good overall breakdown of this game, can be found here on the Jimquisition for Jim Sterling. Anthem, boring trash, kind of sums it up really well about the overall player experience. So, you know, definitely feel free to go check out the Jim impressions if you get an opportunity to mess around with that. Now, we'll get into more of a Legend Gamer Network focus on this title. Let me knock this out. More of a Legend Gamer Network focus on this title. So, things that we look at here. The biggest thing that I like to go by is cooperative gaming. You know, co-opability per se. And two of the biggest primary categories of the game. I mean, of course, graphics. I mean, I play games from regular 8-bit graphics, muddy, ruddy, crusty, old school graphics, all the way up to, you know, the highest quality as you can get, AAA titles. You know, the Witcher. When it comes to graphics, I have an appreciation for all ranges of the graphics. You know, the sound quality, all that. There are definitely plenty of other areas where you can get a breakdown on that, and hell, you can look at videos of the game yourself. But let's dig into what makes this game cooperatively interesting. The co-opability on this, I'd like to give a rank of 1 to 5. There are several factors in the co-opability of this game. One thing that you have in it is the expedition lobby. Now, the expedition lobby is where you can get your friends added into the game, and where you can add your friends into the game and get overall set up for your missions. And I feel like in the expedition lobby, you have a lot of decent options. Let me kind of move things around a little bit here. Get our chat set up. Move the chat out of the way really quick. So as you can see, there we have the mode where you can select your game modes and your difficulty, and of course start your expedition. Now this is really decently handled. You can go over to the right, pressing your shoulder buttons or just clicking over there, I imagine, or using arrow keys on the mouse or on the keyboard. I'm using controller. This is the PC version of this. So you have where you can simply invite your teammates, your friends. You can click on here, go find your friends, and you can even allow for the game allows you to create like a favorites list, so you can have some of your favorite friends or people you game with regularly, your team, your static group. They'll be here represented, so you can get a game started. Oh, hold on, I didn't mean to do that. So, and yeah, so you get in there, go find your friends who's otherwise playing the game. Give them hit the the A button that sends them a request so they can join your party. So the lobby itself is handled really well. Now, one couple notes on the lobby: you can't manage the squad from the forge. So when the leader, the squad leader. Oh, and also I did something else I wanted to mention about this. You can, like Battlefield or so many other games, you can kind of buff yourself with different things for a single expedition to increase your gains while you're out there, whether gear drops or XP, different little things like that. And you can slot a few of those. So that's kind of a neat little thing. But primarily it does a pretty good job of getting your folks into a party, and then everybody readies up and goes off to the mission. So that's pretty straightforward. The expedition rating, the lobby rating rather, gets a 4 out of 5. And the reason why it doesn't get a full 5, because it's very straightforward, like criteria. The reason why it doesn't get a full 5 is, as of right now on PC, the launch bay. So the launch bay is an area where your team can go to and do some light management of inventory, the forge, check some bounties and different little things like that, contracts, and then just jump right back into a mission, I imagine. The launch bay in and of itself is a kind of a curious thing. You think that the launch bay might be a room that you can access from the main hub, from the main world hub. The world hub, which we'll get into that momentarily, but for some reason you can't access the launch bay from the main hub, but out of missions you can access the launch bay, which I guess allows you to continue doing missions one after the other after the other after the other without exactly going back to the main hub to turn in story quests and things like that. And even then, for the launch bay, it seems like it would have made a lot of sense for you to be able to like call some of your quest givers on your inter-suit communicator and tell them, hey, I finished the job, send me my credits. But for whatever reason, they didn't do that. So launch bay, as of right now, is not only is it a weird thing, it is currently glitched. Some players are experiencing their items being removed. Like, you'll have a legendary in one of your weapon slots, you come back and it's gone. And now I do understand it just goes into like your storage or somewhere, so it's not gone indefinitely. So that's cool. Calm down. If this happens to you, just check all your inventory. It should be in your inventory. But it is quite the scare after you found that really sweet weapon and you go in the launch bay and then it disappears. So if you catch this, no alarm. You'll be okay. It'll be there. So what some people are doing is just avoiding the launch bay altogether. So ultimately, as of right now, for the launch bay is a fail. So that is why we're going to be giving the lobby setup a 4 out of 5. Now, the in-mission co-opability, team combos are pretty cool. They do encourage more team play. They do encourage more team play. Team combos are awesome. One of the weird things though about the team combos is that you can combo off of yourself, kind of eliminating the need to really have your teammate assist. But the amount of damage that you're able to do individually is so massive. I imagine when you get to some more of the end game bosses and enemies, that the team combos and the team priming and detonating for the combos, for you people that are familiar with it. Priming is when you set up enemies for folks that aren't familiar with it, prime is when you set up enemies to be affected by what they call, the game calls, a detonator. So you prime them, you get them ready, and you use a detonator skill, use a primer skill to set them up, you use a detonator skill to ignite the combo or initiate the combo, resulting in a lot of damage and sometimes passive effects or auras that affect the players involved with the combo. And the auras will allow for various different things that the game roughly explains within its own context. But the combo team play is pretty cool, like a little bit off balance because you can kind of team combo off your own moves, but that is still kind of cool because it keeps you self-efficient. So it's a weird little balance there. Now, one thing with the end mission team play, it's easy to find your team, so that's good. It's difficult to kind of find marks on the map, places on the map, but team-wise, everything works out well. One big setback, which is one of the biggest things that drops the overall score for in-mission co-op, is going to be the damn force teleporting. Stop the damn force teleporting. Stop it, or extend the leash. So you can literally see your teammates flying off and just like 100 feet is like right off in the distance. You can see them, but the game will automatically start to trigger a countdown that will result in, if you don't catch up with a team or get like 2 feet within the team's range, the game will force teleport you, resulting in some more load time. The game is already plagued with load time. You don't need me to tell you how much load time is in this game, which I can say they greatly reduced the amount of load time, even though there are numerous load instances in the game. But again, there's different videos that talk about that. What I want to talk about regards to the load time is that they do this mid-mission while you're in mission if you are meters away from your team, and that is a little bit annoying, and that is why I would reduce the in-mission co-op play score down a little bit. So in-mission co-op score is going to be a 3 out of 5, largely. Like, they do things pretty well. A lot of points for the team combos, keeping the battle flowing very well and synergistic with your team, but they really losing a lot of points on that whole force teleport thing. And I'm able to give them the reduction of marks, and that's also with the consideration that they improve the mission start. At mission start, it used to be where the folks with the faster machines would load in, and they'd be like halfway to the goal by the time the slower machines would get in. But now they've synced it up a little bit better. Everybody loads in at the same spot, thus everybody takes off and goes to the mission together. So that's what edges off the lower end of the in mission ranking. But 3 out of 5 for the in mission. Expedition lobbies getting a 4 out of 5, and so that's giving us a ultimate score. I believe, what's that for that area of interest? 3.5. Not 3.5, but 2. Basically a 2. Co-op ability gets a 2 based off of those criteria. What really brings it down to a 2 just based off of those 2 numbers is not enough. But this is why, because the non-mission interaction. So we just went over the in-mission stuff. Now the non-mission interaction. What that means is like walking around town. Hey, you say, hey, there's my teammate. Hey, buddy, look at my new suit. I'm gonna do a dance. You emo, flare. That is completely stripped out of the game. What would be the placeholder for a non-mission interaction would be the launch bay, but as I previously mentioned, the launch bay is horribly bugged. People are avoiding it because they're losing items. Now, maybe if they fix that, then that would bring the score up some. Even at best, the non-mission interaction is still going to be middling because of the fact that you can't access the launch bay from the hub, and it's still another damn load screen to deal with. So it's so the score on the Score on non-mission interaction is going to be a 0 out of 5. And this is why we are scoring the co-opability rating as a 2 out of 5. For a co-op game, it's you know, not to get, it's a little below average. You know, we want higher scores here. As far as just the nuts and bolts of the co-op, the game does do well, but it is missing some of the finer tuned points, and then dropping players' items is always a major no-no. So that's, hey, what's up, Ollie the Great? How you doing? What's up? Welcome to the breakdown, the cooperatively speaking, and I see you there, man. Now let's get on to our final sections here. I don't plan on this being too long of a little broadcast or video here. Now, the one that's most important to me and streamers and the streaming community is going to be streamability. That's really all we focus on here for cooperatively speaking, the co-opability of the games and the stream ability of the games, especially for, you know, you co-op streamers out there, one of which I definitely am. My channel focuses on co-op games primarily, but we do a lot of different games overall. Now, streamability, how well does the title integrate into streaming software such as OBS? Primarily, this is coming from an OBS perspective, because that's what I use. I use Streamlabs OBS primarily for all of my streaming options. And so let's get into it. This is going to be a fairly quick little portion, because this game, the sound persists even when disabled. When tabbed off screen. The sound continues when off screen. So you of course, as a streamer, you can manage the sound as you prefer, but the sounds in game when you are like in town, the sounds are pretty conservative at best. They're good sounds, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying they're not all over the place and just intrusive, so to speak. So the sounds playing when I'm doing other things and tabbing out, they don't interfere with what I have going on, or any stream music I have going on or anything like that. And so the sounds are good, and they persist when tabbed, which is really cool. So, you know, for you streamers out there, when you tab out of a game and then all your sound just drops, you're gonna be right back. All right, that's what's up. And all your sound just drops. I mean, that can be kind of an issue. So, you know, I think it's good to have the option to turn it off, rather than it just drops when you tab out, just leaving your viewership in the void of noise. So, going on, another good thing that the game does, that's a good thing. So for Fighter 9, Legend Game Network co-op type streaming style, the sound persisting for this particular game especially is good, because again, it doesn't have really any intrusive, overbearing, awful noises happening. So there's that. Now, another really awesome thing for this one is going to be no noticeable slowdown while the game is tabbed. While you tabbed off of the main game, which, you know, it'll still be up in your stream and everything, but you're not noticing, at least as far as I can tell, you're not noticing any slowdown or any glitches or anything like that. It's a really smooth passive stream integration into OBS, and I say passive because some games such as Vermintide 2, Warhammer Vermintide 2, and a few others do have direct Twitch stream integrations that you can fool around with and have some fun with your viewership. And I'm not going to rate that against this title, because that's just a super rare thing anyway, just to have direct integration into your Streamlabs. But as far as passive integration, it does really well, with no noticeable slowdown, and it persists very well with the music off screen while tabbed. So in the streamability category, this title gets a 5 out of 5. It does. That's a very important part for me. And if I have to fumble around and it resizes or otherwise wants to glitch out and all these kind of different negative things while I'm trying to get a hot stream going for you guys, man, that's unforgivable, and this game passes that with flying colors. So overall, between the two categories that we look at the most here, co-opability and streamability, we're gonna get give the game. You know, I guess there will be one more ranking here, but I'll save that for another time. But as for the criteria, what we have right now, the game would be basically getting a 7 out of 10 as far as the co-op ranking goes. So very good game to co-op, solid co-op. You're going to have a lot of fun if you're into this particular kind of game style. The game does have issues depending on what you're wanting out of it. And let's speak on closing as to one of the things that one of the things that I think about when mentioning this title. This title as a AAA title, and definitely want to stir the dialogue regarding this particular bit, is the cost. The cost of this game as a AAA title. Definitely, I want to speak to that a little bit. The cost of this game as a AAA title, $59.99, $64 plus tax, and that's if you buy like the base model. But if this game has so many different release versions of it, it goes all the way up to like $100 and something weird dollars. Now, the people that are really benefiting from the cost, benefiting the most by purchasing this game, I feel, are the people that got the game off Origin Premier, because in Origin Premier, if you purchase that service, at least a year's worth of that service, you get a really good deal. You get access to a lot of the EA titles, your Battlefields, your Sims, for all you Sims people out there, and numerous other titles, even some non-EA titles. All right, and so for the value of that, I feel kind of you come out way better on PC than you would. And I'm talking about value, guys, not graphics and all this. Value wise, you run the chance of coming out way better on PC if you sign up for that Origin Prime service. All right. Otherwise, this game's cost is a little bit inflated. All right, with what you get, because there, if a lot of things that can be said, there's one that definitely sticks. This game has a lot of placeholder stuff going on in it. It is not nearly a full release right now. And what we see is the true price of this game. So for those of you kind of wondering and on the sidelines about whether or not I want to pick up Anthem, I will say, unless you have like a specific need to pick it up, like for myself, I'm a streamer, especially a co-op streamer, so I'm going to be encouraged to get co-op games when they first come out, so we can have these discussions about them. But if you're just like a casual gamer, no, I can't encourage that price tag, a full price AAA price tag for this title as is. Now, the expectation, from what I understand, is that they'll be releasing a lot of DLC, free DLC for this game, and even then, the degree of that DLC is going to really have to speak to the full price of this game. All right, it's really going to have to outweigh the price of this game. $60 for what we have here is I can't justify it if I was just a regular casual kind of gamer. Just not wholly into the whole theme of it. But $29.99, you would snatch this game up off the shelves all day long for that price, and also as far as the amount of content that it has in it right now. I mean, $65 is a pretty big promise for them to, get you the content that you need, because right now the game needs more zones. The game needs more enemies. The game needs more enemies, okay? Because as of right now, the biggest enemies in this title are they're like 3 or 4 enemies right now. All right, and I can't recommend that. In fact, holy, whoa, looks like we have something now. We're being invaded by the swarm of Anthem spiders. In fact, here we have it now. One of the Anthem enemies. You're going to see a lot of these throughout your adventures in Anthem. So especially right now as it's launched, because you only have like 3 enemies to fight. So be prepared to deal with them on a regular basis. Let's get Danger Spider back here. Let's get the Swarm back here. All right, these are going to be a large part of what you're going to be shooting for your experience. So just be prepared to run away from this awesomely detailed enemy and this spider swarm. Yeah, they're going to be coming at you quite a bit. So $29.99, 7 out of 10 for cooperability. Overall, should be cheaper. And hey, as it goes, when you get your hand on that keyboard, joystick, controller, or mouse, you be sure to game it good. This is Spider9 saying peace. Catch up with us on the next one.